Hi everyone, this is Siva and I have Don with me here today. We're gonna review a Gen 3 paddle.
Yeah, going back. We're going back.
So the JOOLA, suing everybody with Gen 3, and luckily this company is not sued by JOOLA. So anybody who is wanting to buy a Gen 3 paddle, what we are reviewing today is Pakle's EVO-1. So it's their Gen 3 paddle. They also have Pakle Fuse, which is their Gen 5 paddle. Fuse.
Right, but not approved yet by any means, right?
Not approved yet, but I think they're trying to get it approved. We have that paddle, we're gonna do a review on that later.
Yeah.
But so this is their Gen 3 paddle. Going into specifications, I think this is your standard elongated, 16.5, 7.5 inches with 16 millimeters thickness. I think, the weight is about 8.1, 8.2 ounces.
Okay.
And then I think the swing weight was around 116, 117, and twist weight was around 6.05.
Okay, so you're pretty standard elongated.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this paddle is priced at $130, right, for a Gen 3. And you can use our code PBRX, you get 20% off. So that brings it down the paddle's price to $104.
Oh man, so $100 Gen 3 paddle. Okay.
Pretty comparable to less Canon, like right around $90, So going into core, I think what they say is what they have is Vortex Core. Now, basically, it's just your typical Gen 3 polypropylene honeycomb core, and their cells are about 8 millimeters in thickness. Then you have your EVA foam, right, all around the paddle, right, to improve the stability, just Gen 3. And the EVA goes all the way to the handle and throat, which helps with the vibrations. And then they put thermoplastic elastomer, just like a strip in the center here. So that kind of provides additional stability for the core.
I see. So that's what they call the Vortex Core.
Vortex Core. Like typical Gen 3, you only have just EVA foam all around.
Right.
So in addition to the EVA foam here, they also have a TPE in the center. So that's where the Vortex Core is. And apparently, they say that it's pretty good in terms of preventing the core crushing.
So again, that's always the problem with the Gen 3.
Gen 3.
Yeah, so
this, we're going to compare it with the JOOLA IV, I mean, this is, as you guys know, this has been my main for some time.
Yeah.
Even Don's, this is one of the best paddles JOOLA's produced. Pretty good. So dimensions-wise, both are similar, right? Now, when it comes to power, I mean, again, this is a typical Gen 3. It's not your most powerful paddle by any means, but it has decent power.
Yeah.
I would say mid-tier, probably around 6, 7 out of 10 power. Pop, I think it's a little bit poppier than I expected, right? I mean, it's a little bit poppy. But
it was, and it sounds poppy. So if you're not a fan of like that loud noise, kind of like the how would you say? What's like a loud noise I compare it to? Kind of like the air cyclone, that loud thudding noise. The Evolution definitely has a loud noise coming off the ball there.
For sure. I think when I compare this to JOOLA IV power, I think they both are pretty comparable. Maybe JOOLA IV has a little bit touch more on power, but this is definitely more poppy than JOOLA IV, I think in terms of spin, I think pretty comparable.
Yeah.
Maybe this one has more grit, but JOOLA IV puts a lot of spin from the dwell.
The dwell time, yeah.
So I think they're pretty comparable.
Yeah.
In terms of control, I think, this is like a reset machine, I mean, again, any of these Gen 3 paddles, it's easy to play and, control. So it's pretty good. Now, I find like sweet spot, I think it's pretty good too as well. Like the whole paddle is a good sweet spot.
Yeah. I think it got a lot to do with that Vortex Core going on. Because I had the hugest problem on the JOOLA Pro 4. Like I would get so many dead spots up here on the side. And that was my biggest gripe with the JOOLA Pro 4.
Yeah. In terms of sweet spot, I think this is better than JOOLA IV.
Yeah, that's really wide.
I definitely felt when I was playing in terms of feel, I felt this was more flexible. I don't know if it's that Vortex Core. It feels like rubbery flex, which is what the JOOLA V is now, So that's something I felt a little bit different. It wasn't like flat. It was like soft and rubbery when I'm trying to feel,
Okay.
So I was able to shape the ball a little better than what I was hoping for a $100 paddle, So final impression, who's this paddle for? I think this paddle is good for anybody who wants to try to, get into your like intermediate players, definitely, who wants to buy a Gen 3 paddle, don't have the budget for, $250, $300 price tag, and then had less bought last cannon before and had some core crushing issues. Yeah. And the other thing is like RPM V2, it's also pricey to $50 price tag. So definitely, if you want to like the Gen 3 feel, I mean, give it a try. You would not be disappointed, at least, for the price. I mean, $100.
I know the price point is the biggest kicker.
Bigger thing.
And I really hope Vortex Core is true to their word.
Yeah.
Again, the less cannon, $100, similar price point, but it's been known to core crush so much. I think ours core crush, two of our buddies core crush.
Oh yeah.
That's the problem with these Gen 3 pads. So hopefully this Vortex Core can hold his own here for it.
And we've been using it for almost a month now, right? I mean, the play testing, it's pretty good. And we've given it to so many people to demo and they all liked it.
We banged the hell out of this bag.
Yeah. It's not, again, if you're looking for something like boomstick kind of power, it's not like,
right.
It is pretty decent. And I think the one area where this paddle shines is the price. I mean, $100, you get a Gen 3 paddle, probably just based on the specifications, it may be a little bit more durable in terms of, core crushing and all. So again, Pakle sent this paddle, for review purposes. They did not put any inputs, right? What to say, what not to say. So, and then we do make some commissions of this, so it would help with the channel. So if you guys use our code PBRX. All right, that's it, guys. This is Ivan Don again. This is a review on Pakle EVO-1. Thank you guys for your support. Please let us know if you have any questions. Please throw in a comment if somebody used this paddle. All right. Peace.